From San Diego, California, this is a One Extraordinary Marriage show, where being busy is overdone, romancing is fun, and scheduling sex has taken the guesswork out of wondering when you're going to get some. I'm Tony DeLorenzo, your co-host, along with my beautiful wife, Elisa. From coast to coast and around the world, thank you for joining us. It's time to talk sex, love, and commitment. Give us a call on the HUG hotline at 858-876-5663. That's 858-876-5663. In today's show, we talk about some different date ideas you can enjoy so your marriage doesn't take a vacation during all your summer fun.
And as we talk about summer, I found this quote attributed to Anonymous that says, "Remember, the tans will fade, but the memories will last forever." And we're going to be encouraging you to create new memories with all of the ideas that we discuss in today's show. But those of you that have been around for a while, or those of you that are brand new, we start each and every One Extraordinary Marriage show with a hug. And the hug is an opportunity for you to hear from others in the one family who have experienced transformation and who have a strong hope for what will be happening in their marriage. And this week's hug is sponsored by BarkBox, and you can check them out at barkbox.com/one. BarkBox is a new and exciting way to gift. Whether it's your son, daughter, or a friend who would love a monthly surprise for their beloved pup, BarkBox is the perfect gift for your loved one. Each gift subscription includes toys and treats in a unique theme. And BarkBox has a number of ways that you can send a gift and make a lucky pup the happiest pooch on the block. Now, Tony and I sent this to a friend of ours, and she sent us a video of her sweet Max opening up the box. He was so...
Well, she opened up the box, and then Max got to see everything in the box.
It's true. It was like, you know, when you watch different TV shows and they do the big reveal. This was Max's big reveal.
Yep.
And he couldn't have been more excited. He kept running back and forth to the box to see what would be next coming out of it. And I'm thrilled that we could do something special for her favorite dog and have it sent directly to her. And the best part, it had all kinds of unique toys and treats that I know I wouldn't have been able to find anywhere else.
No.
And all of the edibles are made in the U.S. and Canada. Now, here's what I love about BarkBox. They love your dog's happiness so much that they'll replace any item that your dog doesn't like. Scout's honor. Now, BarkBox wanted to do something special for the one family. When you visit barkbox.com/one and subscribe to a 6 or 12-month plan, then select yes, please when asked, have a playful pup, you're going to receive a free extra premium toy added to your BarkBox every month. So give the gift that keeps on giving with a BarkBox subscription box. Your furry friend is sure to thank you. Now, this week's hug comes from an email that we recently received from a wife that's been a member of the One family for a little while now.
Yeah, for some time.
And she said it all started with a dare. You know it's going to be good when we're starting with a dare.
You know it.
She said, preceded by what had become a frequent, in quotes, lively discussion. I'm not saying argument about sex in our marriage. We've done one 7-day challenge, and then things went back to normal. Normal for us is sex nearly every other day, but I wasn't really happy about the quality.
Which is a lot. Let's just put that out there.
I mean, that's
high. More than what Elisa and I are doing.
She said, quantity is fine if it's good. I'm also the low desire spouse. We've skirted around the idea of scheduling sex, the intimacy lifestyle, but for some reason, my hubby can't wrap his head around it. Why do we need to schedule it? How will I remember whose day it is? I could have sex every day. Scheduling doesn't make sense. Why can't it just happen? I know what the two of you are thinking, and so was I. So I said, okay, I dare you to agree to a 60-day challenge, and this doesn't just mean the same old sex for 60 days. We have to work on taking this to a new level. So he said yes, and I kind of gulped. 60 days, how could I do this? That sounds vaguely familiar. I think we had that conversation ourselves in our marriage. She said, right after this, Call to Love arrived, and I read it cover to cover. He and I listened to portions of the audio. It was inspiring and reinforced what we had learned in He Zigs, She Zags, and much more. And praying has become more frequent as well. For better sex, for more connection, for courage to be creative, for the strength to live out our commitment. We became very intentional about sex, about making it different and exploring new ways of being intimate. 7 days came and went. Then 15, 35. We marveled at our endurance. We're 10 days from 60 at this point. It hasn't been fireworks every day, but it has been quite a journey. We've had 2 serious fights that at any other time, I would have pouted and not been open to intimacy afterwards. But this commitment helped us connect much more quickly and get back on track. We learned a number of things, not the least of which is that feelings, for example, I don't feel like it, are fleeting and with intention can be overcome. Sure, we've had to take time out for some short-term illness, but have made it a point to resume once we were able. As we approach our 10th anniversary this June, I'm feeling really confident this challenge will be a catalyst for much more growth in the years to come. It is my hope he will be more open to adopting the intimacy lifestyle after this, simply because for the last 50 days, he hasn't had to wonder when he's going to get some.
It's so rad. I love it. And I'm going to put links. This one family listener added some stuff, talking about call to love and he zig, she zag. So I'm going to put those in the show notes for you guys to check out. But this is where things change. This is how it happens, you guys. And sometimes we can get stuck in our own little mess in our head going, well, my spouse won't do this, or I can't do this. And every once in a while we got to take a step of faith, and faith is believing in something we can't see. And so we don't know if we didn't know 60 days was going to happen. Like we just had to go day by day by day, which is what this couple has done. And my goodness, what a way to ring in year 10.
Absolutely. They're off to an amazing start. And what I love about this couple, and it actually, ties in with what we're talking about with summer fun, is that they kept trying new things.
Right.
Right. She mentioned they tried the 7 days of sex challenge. She mentioned call to love. She mentioned and they kept working on their marriage. And that's what we need to do as we're, in the middle of summer. Right. There's so many things that, that summer means, right? It means, vacation schedules. And for those of you that have kids, the kids are home, or the kids are staying up late, or
you're trying to have sex with the kids at home much more than they normally are.
Exactly. You've got traveling, spending time with friends, and you can be doing all of these amazing, incredible things. And then in a lot of cases, marriage takes a back seat to everything else. Right? Especially your date nights, because you got all those other things filling up your calendar. Right? And let's face it, we want to say yes to all the fun things. Right? But we often find ourselves saying yes to so many other things and so many other people that sometimes we're saying no to our spouses.
Right. Or when we do squeeze it in, it's something that's quick and neither of you really enjoy it because it's more of a second thought, a third thought than you guys being intentional and being the priority.
Right, because you're trying to cram it into those little windows that you get. Oh, well, let's just go grab an ice cream cone together, or let's go play putt-putt. And guys, I'm not saying any of those things are bad. What the challenge becomes, and are you being intentional to really make that a date with your spouse? Because it's so easy for us to get distracted by all the other shiny and fun things we have going on over the summer. But each and every one of you that made the decision to become part of the one family, to listen to this podcast, what we know about you is that each and every one of you are dedicated to creating an extraordinary marriage, which also means that we're dedicated. We've made a decision not to take a summer vacation from our marriages.
Right.
Right? It's not like kids. I mean, any of you that have kids or have seen every television show that's ever been made about the last day of school with the kids, when they all come streaming out of the school and they're, throwing their books and throwing their papers and they're doing nothing for the next 3 months. Right? That's childhood. Right? This thing called marriage means that we stay intentional all year round. Right? Because out of that intention, and Tony and I have done it ourselves.
Oh, yes.
Like, I mean, I can't tell you how many times that, even this week as we're, looking at the kids' schedules, and I'm like, okay, well, I've got this one going here and there, and this one's got practice, and this one's got lessons, and this one's doing stuff with friends, and oh, by the way, yeah, you're going to see your parents, and this.
And we want to do a barbecue with some friends over here, and adding all these little things in, it can overwhelm our calendar.
Right. And you find yourself with maybe a week or two's gone by and you're like, where's our time? When was the last time that you and I spent time together? When was the last time? And here's what happens. That disconnect, folks, happens, so quietly. right? Because when we've got fun stuff going on and your calendars feel full, you might not realize that the disconnect is happening between you and your spouse. You might not realize because you went out with friends and because you were doing stuff with the kids that the two of you haven't had a date night, that the two of you haven't had that one-on-one time. I mean, we have a fire pit in our backyard and Tony and I enjoy sitting by the fire pit, but the last few times that we've pulled lit the fire pit, I was going to say pull it out. Well, it stays out all the time. The last few times we've always had other people around. We're like, hey, come over and have s'mores. Hey, come over and hang out by the fire pit. And even as, we're sharing this with you guys, we're thinking to ourselves, when was the last time it was just the two of us?
Sitting around the fire pit.
And, summer's short. Guys, let me be really clear. Summer, depending on where your kids go to school or what, we're talking 3 months, 90 days, which doesn't seem like that long of a period of time overall, right? You're like, it's 1 quarter of the year. No big deal. It's one season. But let me tell you something. If you don't get intentional about dating your spouse for a quarter of the year, if you don't get intentional about spending that time with your spouse for 90 days, that disconnect grows exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not just like, oh, well, we'll pick it up again when the kids go to school in the fall, or we'll pick it up again when it's not so hot out, or we'll pick it. You get out of it's like any muscle. Consider dating your spouse a muscle, right? At any muscle that you don't work, that doesn't get used, stops working, right? It's why each and every week you come to the One Extraordinary Marriage Show. Why? Because you're stretching your marriage muscle. It's why we encourage, you guys, the listener that wrote in, she talked about the intimacy lifestyle, right? That's a muscle in more ways than one that's getting exercised.
That's right.
Right. When you make a decision to have an extraordinary marriage, you make a decision that you're going to exercise all of your marriage muscles. And as we're talking about summer, one of the easy ones, like we've said, is this date night muscle. Right. And so we want to share in the season of, relaxing and fun. We just don't want to relax so much that we're not being intentional about our marriages. So we want to share some specific dates that are going to encourage you guys to exercise this dating muscle in the midst of everything else that you've got going on. It's going to encourage you to really stretch this summer and allow the two of you to foster that connection. Even when maybe you feel like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on. We're going to give you the tools to carve out the time for the two of you so that when this season is over, you're just as connected, if not more connected, because you didn't take that summer vacation.
Right. So, and what you want to do though is make sure you get out your pen and papers.
Oh, good.
Because we're going to give you a list of these. And these are just different date ideas, romantic date ideas. We run the gamut. Mm-hmm. And we're looking at just different things to help you guys go, okay, hey, that's a fun idea. And like anything we share here, hey, pick something, determine how many dates you're going to do over this summer. Hey, if you guys are a once a monther, then cool. That's awesome. Pick 3 of these. And like we've always said, make it work for your guys' marriage. So tweak it to be the best for you guys. But make sure, grab your pen and paper, and we're going to get into it right now.
And if you're driving, don't grab pen and paper.
Don't grab pen.
Just plan on listening to it once or twice, or maybe when you get to the office or wherever you're going, because we just definitely don't want you writing and driving all at the same time. But before we start digging deep into specific dates, one of the ideas that you might want to do is just consider a fun afternoon together at the park, the two of you and your favorite furry friends. But don't forget to pick up your free extra premium toy in your Bark Box when you visit barkbox.com/one and subscribe to a 6 or 12 month plan, selecting that yes please when asked if you have a playful pup. It's a great way for the two of you to just get out and have some fun. Right. And you know what? It doesn't hurt if Fido gets a little exercise in the process.
Right.
So let's talk about some of those fun summertime dates. And we're going to share ones that have really had an impact on our marriage. And one of the first ones I want to share is this whole idea of doing a progressive dinner drive.
So, yeah, I love. This is one of my favorites.
It's a favorite because you can do this if you're on vacation and you're in a new city. right? You can do this if it's just your regular old stomping ground and you just know different places. And the idea behind a progressive dinner is that you don't have an entire meal all in one restaurant.
That's right.
Right? So you'll pick a restaurant, essentially 3 different restaurants, right? Where you're going to have one restaurant, you're going to have an appetizer. So you'll go and you'll start your evening off, or afternoon if you're doing lunchtime. Start off early. Go find that great place, those appetizers that you just love, right? Or maybe it's a happy hour that you want to go to because it's like half price appetizers. Bonus. So you start there with the happy hour or the appetizers, and then you go drive somewhere else for dinner. Right? What's that favorite spot that your husband or wife has wanted to try? And you're like, oh, you know what? We're going to do it on this progressive dinner. And then finally you wrap it up somewhere else for dessert. Mm-hmm. Right? So over the course of a night, you get to try 3 different restaurants. Again, if you're in a new city, maybe on vacation, what a great way to explore wherever you're at.
And for many cities, especially vacation cities, and even places like San Diego or Orange County, where we live here in Southern California, you can park your car at one place and walk from one place to the next, which is really the way we've done it before, where, having that appetizer, sitting down, relaxing, and then once we are done, just walking around for a little bit, looking for the next place. Sometimes, asking locals where is a great place to go, maybe even like looking at the lines and knowing that, hey, it's okay if you're going to stand in line for a little bit, or it's going to be a half-hour wait, because it's not a rush. There's no like time limit. We're here to enjoy ourselves. We have the babysitters, or everything's already set up. Mm-hmm. And so by doing that, you're doing that little bit of that walk and talk as well. And you're not just planting yourself in one spot. And I will have to say, more and more recently for myself, I just feel like restaurants are just, they're trying to get you in and out as quickly as they can. And so by doing this, you get to enjoy each one, because even if they're trying to get you out quickly, you're still in 2 places, especially for your appetizer, dinner, and then dessert, depending if you're just walking by somewhere and picking something up, you can do another little walk and talk along the way from there.
And a variation on this that we've also done, taking this whole progressive idea, is to look for the best of.
Yep.
Right. We do this especially when we're traveling or on vacations, where we'll, best up. Where's the best place to get an appetizer? Where's the best dinner? Where's the best dessert? And you can combine that with this progressive dinner. So now if you're in a new place on vacation, you're getting to find all of the top spots and really just cultivating that. Another fun date idea is to get out and do things that you wouldn't normally do. So those of you that have been listening for a while, you know that Tony's a cyclist, which means 2 wheels, road bike, hard saddle, not anything that I am interested in doing. Like, you will never hear a One Extraordinary Marriage episode where I'm like, yeah, I went out riding with Tony. Not going to happen. It actually saves our marriage.
Will not.
It will save our marriage that I would never get on a bike with Tony. But what we've done in the past, because I can get him to go on a beach cruiser with me.
Right.
And living in San Diego, there are a lot of great places where you can, get out and go for just those casual rides.
And here's other things. Here are other options on this. There are Segway tours, look on Groupon, Living Social, any of these things. So you have like these Segway tours, you have kayaking tours. There are, urban hiking tours. There are different things that fall into this area,
adventure.
Of, hey, get a cruiser, whatever it may be, take that and go off for a date. I mean, we've done kayaking tours here locally at La Jolla Shores, and I think it was about an hour and a half.
Yeah, give or take.
Hour and a half, 2 hours total, and getting down there and then doing a nice lunch afterwards. So you can do different things. I know some friends have done Segway tours. They've loved them. There are different city tours. I mean, it's just taking yourselves in your area, or maybe you live in a smaller area and maybe you're going to the big town nearby and you're just going to explore it in a different way. I mean, there are some places I know that have horse-drawn carriage rides. I mean, there's so many different things that we can do if we look for them. And again, Groupon, Living Social, those are, and any of those other Entertainment Book, any of those outlets, you can find those deals.
Well, and I know I was just talking to one of my coaching clients the other day, and their anniversary was this past weekend, and she had actually as an adventure for their anniversary, had chosen one of those like city scavenger hunts.
Oh, that's something we've talked about.
That's something we've talked
do.
about doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe
and
that'll be our
because you
summer.
have sometimes it's like with an app or they give you a map or whatever, and it's like a 2-hour tour of where you are. You may not, and it's all these like hidden gems or restaurants or whatever it is that you go exploring in your locale. And what a great way to just get out and learn and try new things together. The next one that I want to share, because this is a favorite of ours, is attend an outdoor musical, orchestra, concert, theater production, whatever it is. There's something, we did this actually. This actually goes all the way back to our first summer together. We saw Midsummer's Night in Boulder. Our very, very first, Tony's looking at me with
Shakespearean Festival.
The Shakespearean Festival.
That's exactly when we put this up here. That was the thing that just went to my head. Is Shakespearean festivals, because they're going on all over the place, at different, in different cities. And what a way to experience, if this is something you enjoy doing together. I love it.
I mean, we mentioned Shakespeare there, but I know throughout communities, because I've seen it just, different news stories and things like that, summer movies in the park, right? We've done that before. Summer music in the park, right? Check your local parks and rec and see what their summer offerings are. Because, there's something about being outside, right? You've got your blanket. Maybe you've done a picnic. It's just the two of you. It gets dark.
Well, you said maybe do a picnic. I was going to add that in is another idea, though, is pack a picnic.
There you
go. Or grab one, whatever you want to do there. And go somewhere. And that's, you could go to a beach, a park. You could take it on a hike. Guys, wear the backpack. We have this awesome plush picnic backpack that I'll put a link to that you can check out. But put that on. Go, in an afternoon. Go to the top of a hill, a mountain, a grassy landing, whatever it is, and enjoy that summertime evening. Because I get it, and we get it. We live in San Diego. We live east of the beach by about 15 miles. So the temperature from the beach to where we live can be as much as 25 degrees. So during the day, I'm not like going to be huffing and puffing up to even our local peak right behind us called Twin Peaks. I mean, it's one of those things where a pack a picnic and enjoy that would be evening time. Like we're going to see the sunset and we're going to have like flashlights to get down, or we're going to enjoy, the bit of the sunset, and then we're going to get ourselves down before it's completely dark. But you can combine both of those.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, when you're having that experience, and what I want to say real quick about like this whole outdoor theater entertainment, venue idea is that yes, will there be other people around? Sure. But make it be about the two of you. Right. Make it be about, choosing a show that you want to see, listening to the music. If you're going to one of those, outdoor concerts or music festivals, start singing along. Right. Get into the moment with your spouse, because that's where the memories come from. Right. It's like the quote that I opened the show with: the tans will fade, but the memories will last. Right. This is all about creating those summertime memories, just like the ones you had as a kid. Right. We all have those memories of, oh yeah, that was the summer that we did, X, Y, Z. You and I, every one of you listening to this, we need to have those same summer memories for our marriages. So we need to get involved in the process of making that happen. And, Tony talked about hiking and how, doing that during the summer when it's, 95 plus here in certain areas of San Diego, not something, we're super excited about, but hiking, during a full moon, doing evening hikes, trail hikes, that type of thing where you can just get out and you start to hear all like the crickets and the, just that kind of evening buzz happening around you, and just being able to like see the moonrise. Like pull out your, Google it, moonrise. And so know when you're going to have a full moon. It's amazing, you guys, to be outside and experiencing that on a hike or, sitting somewhere up on a grassy knoll in the park when there's a full moon. It reminds me of the movie Moonstruck, that song, when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. Yeah. I'm not going to sing for you guys. That would be torture. But you know what I'm talking about. A full moon is very romantic. And over summer, guess what? There happens to be 3 of them.
That's right. You have the opportunity. And here's something I want to say before we even move a little bit forward and give you some of these other ideas. We have to address our phones and how much of our phones are we using. Like Elisa brought up, the city scavenger hunt, that it's on an app. Got it. Need to use it for that. Do we need to during this summertime, we're taking our spouse out. Do we need to have our phone with us? Do we need to take a picture for all to see, or are we going to just have those memories imprinted in our own brain and memory? And that's something each of us has to think about. And I say that because I need to hear that as well. I feel like even for myself recently, just going out with Elisa, too much is sitting on that phone again. And I need to break that habit. And as we're going through this, it just came to me going, yeah, you know what? That needs to stay in the car. Again, we've always said, hey, we have kids, so we always bring one, but that one is sitting at the bottom of the purse or the backpack or something, and it's not coming out. And so it's just something for you guys to talk about before going out, because we really want you to enjoy these. And personally, I want to enjoy my romantic dates with Elisa. I don't want to try to take a picture of the moon and miss the moon in that time, being able to have my arm around her waist and kissing her. Because I'm looking through the moon through a screen. Why don't we just look at it as it rises up, as we're sitting on the banks of a lake or, a creek or the ocean?
Absolutely. And, I was just having that conversation with a coaching couple the other day because we were talking about both phones going on dates. And I'm like, just pick one. Whichever one of you tends to put your eyes on the phone the most, that one stays home. Because we know there are memories that you want to capture. Don't spend so much energy on capturing the moment that you miss being in the moment, right? Because it's super easy for us to do with our phones. We're like, oh, I'm going to post it to Facebook or Instagram or wherever. Yeah. Why don't you create the memory? And then you can tell people about it after, right? It doesn't have to always have a photographic imprint, because the imprint that happens between the two of you, the connection that happens between the two of you, I promise you is worth more than whatever picture you took.
Yeah.
I promise, and so, as we're just wrapping up a couple more of these, we talked about the full moon and all that kind of stuff, but find the best place in your area to watch the sunrise or the sunset. Depending on if you're a morning person or more of a night owl, you all know what's best in your marriage, but make it a point to do that at least once during the summer. There's something absolutely magical about that quiet time around sunrise and sunset. And we've experienced this so often, like on our hiking trips, when Tony and I would hike and backpack together, and just, when the sun starts to come through the tent and we're like, oh, we got to get up and catch it. And you watch the sunlight come, or at the end of the day, you watch it fade, and just that quiet stillness. Our marriages need that space of quiet and stillness for connection, for just calmness. In our relationships. And you want to create a memory, you create the opportunity to have calmness and quiet in your marriage.
Yeah. And we've been blessed. The last two places we've lived at, we have amazing places that we get to enjoy those sunsets and just to sit out on our patios and explore, and not explore them, but just enjoy them. Another one, hey, we're all going to come to this 4th of July here, at least in the United States, for all our U.S. listeners. We have fireworks, that come out on 4th of July. For many places where you may be vacationing, they do nightly fireworks. Different places do that. Enjoy that. Get out there, have the wonderment of a kid again. And sometimes that's hard as we get into this world of adulting. We sit there and we're like, we've seen it, we've done it, this is boring. And yet, if we could just take a step back sometimes and just enjoy the 15 minutes in wonderment, how much can we learn from that in our own marriages, and the wonder and the newness or the exploration that we could have in our own marriages? Because honestly, we've seen this. I'm 44 years old. I've seen it many a times, and this year is going to be a fun one because we got invited to go on a boat for this 4th of July and watch the fireworks from a boat. That's going to be new for me. I've never done that. So I really want to be in that place of wonder and enjoyment.
And the reality is that as you make each and every one of these memories, you have the opportunity to create fireworks in your own marriage, right? Make this be the summer that you ooh and ah, just like everybody does when they're watching fireworks. You ooh and ah over every memory that the two of you are creating.
Yeah. All right, you guys. So we hope we gave you some good ideas there to have some romantic dates over this summer. Pick one, pick two of them. Mold them to what works for you guys, right? Or put two of them together. Whatever it may be, the goal is that you go and do it. Here's the thing. The one that is listening, you are listening right now. Do not expect your spouse to read your mind and pick one of these for you. You need to take action. You need to be intentional in your marriage. Pick the date with your spouse and then pick one of these and go do it. We love you guys. Have a fantastic week. And we're excited to hear from you because we love to share your hug on how your romantic date night ended up. So share that at info@oneextraordinarymarriage.com or call it in at 858-876-5663. We love you guys. Have a fantastic week, and we'll catch you next week.